Hello, everyone. Waldman here with Rich Sparling and Lucas DeBarros, LDB.
Yes.
Billy says that a lot. He says LDB.
It's catchy. I'm telling you. It's what all the youngins are. I just need to keep pushing it.
I know. Well, you know, they know me as Broker Bill. And even my darn kids, they call me Broker Bill. And it's like,
see, I like LDB. It's a little bit of a cooler ring. I got some street cred with it.
I just get coach. That's what I get called, coach.
It's okay.
Yeah, my wife can't get my attention. She says, coach.
That's the key
There
word.
you go. There you go.
Yeah.
So, well, I think today, I'm excited. You know why? Because we're going to talk about buyers and the process for buyers and getting them ready, or just some of the steps that they have to take in order to buy their next house. You know, and we're going to go through that.
Okay.
Right?
Good.
Because why? Why, Rich?
Yes, sir.
Why would it be important, especially now, you know, for buyers, you know, to start thinking about possibly coming in?
I didn't know I was going to get called on.
You know you're going to get called.
I didn't know I was going to get called on. What was the question?
Why is it important now to talk about buyer steps? Because, and for buyers, why would it be important right now?
Well, for one thing, it's becoming a buyer's market.
It's getting there.
It's
Yeah,
getting there. So,
we're seeing more inventory.
yeah. And at the same time, it's still a little bit tricky being the offer that gets accepted.
A little bit.
Yeah. So,
A little bit.
yeah, this can kind of smooth out the path.
Yeah. So there's, I think, at the end of the day, there's more opportunity out there
Yeah, definitely.
than there was, say, 6 months to a year ago.
Plus, especially if we do end up getting these rate drops, it'd be a nice time for buyers to start looking before all these other buyers start flooding the market once that happens.
Yeah, this is true. So if, you know, the Fed does drop rates in September, like there is a good possibility, you know, that means there will be more people in the market, which means there'll be more demand, which is why the market, you know, did what it did over the last 5 years.
Yes.
There was a lot of demand. Interest rates were very low, so it was very good. It was an opportune time for buyers to buy. So
Great time to sell, too.
great time to sell. So, but I think right now, if you look at things, if you can get in there before it does, if it does turn crazy, we don't know. Like when I got my broker's license, they didn't issue me a crystal ball, but
Richard Broker Bill.
yeah, I wish I knew. I'd be able to time things correctly, even for my own stuff. So we're going to do a back and forth. So Rich, you start off with the first question.
All right, so, Broker Bill, what is the first step that a buyer should take if they're looking to purchase a home?
Well, the first step would be to find an agent or a broker who is, you know, knows what they're doing.
LDB, Broker Bill, or Coach. We got 3 nicknames here. You can pick one.
This is my Blake Shelton impression right here.
Yes. So yes. So find an agent, and you want to make sure that he's knowledgeable, that they are knowledgeable in your area, and you know that they are flexible with your schedule and able to do the things that you want to do. Lucas, what's the next step?
Well, do you want me to explain the next step? Or
You can ask a question, or you can explain it.
Yep.
What is the next step?
So once you find a realtor, what are some of the things as a realtor you would recommend for your client to do next?
Well, the next step would be one of the most important steps is to get the pre-approval. You want to make sure that the pre-approval, you know, I recommend using a local reputable
For sure.
lender. Some agents have lenders in-house. We have an in-house lender. We have a couple in-house lenders. And what I like about that is that if I want to go talk to them, I can go. I know where to find them.
Right.
But the key is the flexibility to be able to act when you need to act.
And getting the pre-approval doesn't require you to actually use that banker.
Not necessarily.
It's time to buy, but
No, but
approval is important.
you want to have something in place because one, you don't want to go out and start looking at houses, and you find out after the fact that you can't afford the houses that you're looking at.
Yeah.
That's a big,
It's like going shopping without a credit card, essentially, or without knowing what your limit is.
So you go out and you're looking at $1 million houses and you can only afford $500,000.
It's funny you should bring that up.
Why is that?
I have 2 clients right now who they want to see houses, but they haven't gotten pre-approved, so I have no idea what they can afford.
Correct.
And they don't know what they can afford either.
I mean, you have the disappointment of when you get out there with people and they see something they really like, and you go see the lender, and the lender's like, yeah, you can't afford that. You can afford this.
Or I've even seen situations where people find a home they like, go through the lender, get approved, but by the time they get the approval, the house is already under contract with another offer.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
Yeah.
Really good point.
Now, in your experience, guys, how long does it take for a pre-approval to get done?
Depends on who you're working with, but you can get it done the same day.
Some do, yeah.
It's really up to you and how quickly you can gather your documents, but like Rich said, it comes up to how quickly you can gather documents and the lender you're working with. Some of them take a couple of days, some of them will take longer, but if you got a good lender, same day.
Yeah. Well, that's the other thing too about the pre-approval process is getting, like, everything in real estate is time of the essence. So if you want to do something quick, or if you see something out there that you like, then you got to make sure that you get the lender the documents that they need. Things like W-2s, like pay stubs, tax returns, bank statements, all those different things. And different lenders, they have different programs that they can use that will allow you to upload that information in there. Or if you're not that tech savvy, some lenders, that's why it's important to go to a local one. They'll let you come into the office and they'll actually take everything that you have on paper as well.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good to have that pre-approval to start looking because you know how much you can afford, but at the same time, you're going to need a pre-approval that's address specific when it comes time to make the offer.
Yeah. For me, whenever I make offers, I will actually, so if somebody has a $500,000 pre-approval and we make an offer on a property that's, we're going to make an offer of $450,000 on.
Yeah.
Right? I want to put in there $450,000 on the pre-approval so that, I'm not showing all my cards up front.
Right. Yeah.
Especially, so over the last 5 years, we've seen it where most offers are above list price.
Yeah.
Right? So it didn't really matter, but if the pendulum swings the other way where buyers are more, it does become a buyer's market, you're going to see where, and this is a big thing right in the news right now, where you're not going to get 100% or 110% of your list price. Meaning, like, a $400,000 list price, you get $440 or whatever. You may get $390. You may get offers for $380.
Yeah.
Especially if your house has been sitting on the market for a while. So you may come in at like $380. Seller wants $400. You may meet in the middle of $390.
Yeah. It's true.
So back to what I was talking about. So if you have on your pre-approval that you submit to the seller on a house that you're offering $380, the pre-approval says $400. Well, you just said, oh yeah, I can go all the way up to $400.
Hmm.
And the seller's like, oh, I'm not going down anymore. They can get approved for an extra $20,000. So why show your cards up front?
Right. Exactly.
But again, the pre-approval is more to prepare you for the market, and when you are ready to make a move, you already have that stuff ready to go.
Yes. Yes.
Alright, so I picked my agent.
Yep.
Preferably from the Bill Waldman team.
Yes.
And now I've got my pre-approval.
Yep.
Next step.
So next step is you are going to set up a search with your agent, right? And they're going to use that pre-approval to make that search for you, right? And then you're going to go out and see properties. So you're going to go through tours with your agent. And prior to going out and see the tours, this is something that's really important that you got to make sure you emphasize or that you understand as a buyer. Whenever, because of this class action lawsuit that happened last year in 2024, it's now required that you have some type of agency contract between your agent, between you and your agent before you go see properties.
Right.
So, as a part of that process, you're going to set up either an exclusive buyer agency contract where they exclusively represent you, see as many properties as you want, or they have a non-exclusive buyer agency contract where they are only set up to see 1, 2, or 3 properties, whatever is agreed upon in that contract.
Right.
And in that contract, that has the actual commission that's being charged by the agent, and based upon what you guys agree upon. And that's your ticket to go out and see properties.
Right.
Go out and see properties.
And if there's an agent that has been showing you properties without that agreement, they're actually doing something that's illegal.
They're breaking the law.
Just say
Based upon the agreement.
Yeah.
So, so you're going to go out and you're going to start seeing properties, and you may see 1, you may see a dozen, you may see more, but the key is before you go out, you and your agent sit down and you talk about what it is that you want. And you say, well, I want this, this, and this. Because what that'll do is it'll cut down on the number of properties that you have to see.
Right.
And instead of seeing 50 properties, maybe you only see 10. But they're focused on what it is that you want. Right.
It's a matter of like 10 quality versus 50 quantity, but they're not at all what you're looking for.
Correct. Yeah.
So let's say you're out seeing these properties, you run through however many, and then you find your dream home. This is the one you want. What is the next step?
So the next step, once you find one that you like, is to sit down with your agent and to work together to come up with your terms for your offer. So what are your terms? The offer price, when you're going to settle, how much earnest money deposit you're going to put down, whether you're going to do inspections, whether you're not going to do inspections, whether you're going to have a mortgage contingency or not. These are all different terms that you'll put together as a part of your offer. And depending on the market and what's going on, those terms may change. So, for example, over the last 5 years, what are some terms that you guys have seen that have not happened?
Seller assist.
No seller assists. What else?
We're starting to see, in general, less contingencies with offers. Some people with no home inspections, other people just coming in with cash offers, no mortgage contingencies. It's starting to be a heavy investors market.
Appraisal gap.
Appraisal gaps is a big
Cover
one.
the appraisal
People
gap.
paying over market value.
Well, that's what we've seen, but now we're starting to see that transition.
Yes.
So where you're not seeing, you should see less of that.
We're seeing a little bit more of a swing now, I think. We're starting to see people come through with previous home sale contingencies where they have to sell their home in order to get the new one. Those offers are starting to get looked at and accepted now.
Yes.
So it's a little more leeway on the buyer side currently, and we're starting to make that swing, but still got to see where it heads.
Yeah, the dilemma is that with the swing initially, the sellers have short memory. So they remember that not too long ago, people were not asking for inspections and people were offering cash and offering above asking. So a seller's expectations, we call it a hidden agenda, which can wreck marriages, but also can rule out any purchase of a house.
Yeah,
So,
because
something to keep in mind.
so what you're saying is that we've been spoiled over the last 5 years.
Oh my, yeah. Yeah, both sellers and buyers.
So, and you actually see it in the news, not so much around here in this area, but in the area or in the rest of the country, because people have been just spoiled so long, because like they're getting less for their properties, they're delisting their properties because they're not getting what they want.
Right. Yeah.
Because it's been 5 years, and 5 years and the span of people's lifetimes is a long time.
Yeah. And because this is a buyer's
It's not buyer's market
presentation,
yet.
yeah. I mean, we're talking about buyers. Same thing is true. Waiting for the interest rates to go down, you're going to end up seeing higher purchase prices. So, what is it that you say? Marry the
Marry the rate.
the
Or marry the house,
date
date the rate.
house, date the rate.
Yeah.
Because the rates will change.
Rates always change.
Yeah.
Um,
But the price of the house is for the life of the mortgage.
right. So yes, if you buy it at 500, it's going to be 500 until you pay off the loan.
Yeah.
Or your mortgage.
Yeah.
So okay, so we identify the terms. We submit the offer after you sign all the paperwork. Then we wait.
Oh, and for the buyers who think that you can write a letter to the owner of the house, that's no longer acceptable. No longer legal, actually. You want to explain why?
It's still legal.
You sure?
Yes.
So it goes against that.
Well, but here's where the problem lies: is you open yourself up to risk when it comes to equal housing.
You mean the seller would?
The seller does.
Yeah.
So if they, you go in there, I've seen back in the day they put pictures and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And if they're not from the same ethnicity or culture group or whatever,
Yeah, maybe a Mets fan or something like
could
that.
be a Mets fan.
Terrible.
They don't they won't go with them. So there's that. Now, you can tell your agent certain things, and then your agent should sell you, your clients,
Right.
or you, the client, to the listing agent and the seller. And believe it or not, or listing agent, your agent's reputation can have something to do with whether or not your offer is accepted or not.
Hence a great reason to use the William Waldman case.
Where, like, I've actually had offers accepted because the agents on the other side knew me and they worked with me and they had a good experience. So they accepted my offer
Right.
over another offer that was actually more money and better terms.
I've had that happen also.
So reputation for your agent is also important as well. So we submit the offer, we wait.
We wait.
We wait.
To see if it gets accepted. What if
Yes,
they say no?
we wait.
How long do we wait?
It depends. It
Depends on
depends.
The
What is
offer end date, correct?
Well, yeah, so the offers do, in Pennsylvania, they do have an expiry. New Jersey, they do not have an expiry. But Pennsylvania, we do have an expiry on our offers. They're almost the time of the essence date. So, which is good, because you can set it like, hey, listen, I'm only going to give you 36 hours to think about this offer, and give me an answer.
Right.
It gives the seller a little bit more urgency to accept the offer, because if they don't accept your offer by the time the offer expires, well then technically there is no offer. Does that mean that offers can't get accepted post the expiry time or date?
No. Listing agent can come back to your agent and negotiate the selling.
Yep. And then you just change it, and then everybody signs, and we're good.
Yeah.
But it's definitely, it does, it doesn't make it where it drags out for a week and a half to get an answer. Has that happened? Yes, it does. But you want to get it to the point. Have you ever seen anything where like you make an offer and your client says I want to get my offer in and I don't want them to do the open house?
No, I haven't had that happen.
You haven't
Have
had
you
that
had happen?
Yes. So for example, I have somebody that really, really wanted a house. And they said to me, Bill, I really want this house. What do we got to do to get it? All right, well, we want to give the best terms to
The seller.
the seller, to get them to stop it. What are some of the things? Well, we offer more. Maybe we waive inspections. Maybe we, waive the mortgage contingency. Maybe we give them all the terms that they want. So like your agent, when they call up the other agent, they should be asking, what's your seller's timeline? How long do they need? Do they need to buy another house? Right? Do they need to buy another house? Because if you can get in there and give them exactly what they want and maybe even something more,
Excuse
You
me.
no longer need to keep looking.
they don't have to they don't have to have the labor of having people trouncing through their house and leaving the house and taking the dogs to the park and all that kind of stuff. I've had some instances like on a Friday, Saturday where my client saw the house and I want this house, let's get it done. And so we came up with a really good offer. And sometimes the agent will tell you, they'll say, hey, this is what it will take to cancel it. Sometimes they don't. But you have to ask.
Yeah, a lot of times they don't.
No, because they want to get as many people through to get the offers.
The typical response that I've gotten is, give us your highest and best.
I mean, that's what
It looks like that plant's growing right out of my head.
it does, kind of, sort of. A little bit. You can come closer to me.
I don't think
It's
so.
okay, your mind's growing. You're ever learning.
Oh, it's symbolic.
Yes.
I like that. Yeah.
Alright, so you get the offer, hopefully accepted.
So it gets accepted.
And then what is the next step? What are you looking to do? What do you have to get done?
Well, one of the first things you have to do is you got to submit the deposit.
Yes, you have 5 days to do it.
Usually, in our agreements of sale, it'll
Not
be
5 business days.
it's 5 calendar days.
5 days.
Unless you write into the contract
One time.
that all deadlines that fall on a holiday or a weekend will fall onto the next business day.
Yeah.
There are some agents that will write up their contracts that way. You can write up your contract that way, so this way it does fall on a business day and not a calendar day.
Oh, here's another thing that you mentioned, that saying that you'll pay the deposit the day after it's accepted.
That's another way.
That's good for the seller.
Definitely good for the seller because it gives them more security that you're going to be staying in the transaction.
Yeah, and then you're really aggressive to getting it done.
Yeah.
And then something that I see some clients get tripped up over is day 0 or is day 1 the day you sign the contract and receive it back signed, or is day 1 the day after?
It's the day after.
Day after.
So some people will consider the day of, day after. I get some questions like that from clients, but the day after is day 1.
Yep.
And then from there you have your earnest deposit, and then I'm sure you're going to get into your contingency period as well next.
So so you get your deposit in, and then you have an inspection period. So typically for our contracts, the default's like 10 days. Right. Then you have once you do your inspections, you have a negotiation period, which is typically 5 days. And then if after those 5 days you can't come to an agreement with the seller, then you have 2 days after that, unless otherwise specified in the contract, to either terminate or to accept the property as is. Typically, it's a 17-day process unless of course you change the dates. Why would you change the dates sometimes, Rich?
I didn't know I was gonna get called on again.
Right. Well, because you just as well as me have experience as well.
Sometimes it's to speed up the process and make it quicker.
Yep.
Sometimes it's to extend the period of time so you can get your eggs in order.
Yep. What are some of the eggs?
Well, getting the inspections taken care of.
Okay.
For one thing.
Like your well test?
Yeah, and that could take a lot longer to get somebody in there. Appraisal doesn't always happen right away, so that's another thing that you might want to be able to extend the date for. I mean, we're operating with other people that have professions, so they have their own schedule and their own calendar. So getting somebody in there to get the inspection done. Let's say something shows up on the inspection that you want to get addressed.
Mm-hmm.
So the heat, you need to get the heater fixed, or they need to get a new well put in, or stuff like that.
Well,
you don't have to do it right away, though. It doesn't have to be on the initial contract. That could be added as an addendum.
So sometimes what they'll do is, so for example, once you go and you get an inspection done,
Right.
we'll submit a request for repairs or credits, right? And so what happens is we'll, request. And so our clients, the buyers, may ask, their friends or whatever, like, oh yeah, new heater's $10,000, right? New kitchen's $25,000, or a new roof is $35,000, right? They go through and they calculate all these numbers out. So you submit your reply to inspection to the seller or a listing agent. Listing agent presents it to the seller. Seller says, all right, well, I want to make sure that these numbers are right because they look kind of high.
Right.
And you're like, yeah, I think so too. So you get your contractors to have a discussion, and then you come back and you have a meeting of the minds,
Right.
and try to come back in the middle. Right. So that's that whole process to figure out, what everything's going to cost, what it might be worth, or you may get somebody to be like, yeah, I can do it all on my own. Doesn't matter.
Is it ever a good idea for a buyer, like a good idea for a buyer to waive inspections?
No.
So when would it be okay? What criteria would there be in waiving inspections?
It's kind of a trick question.
I feel like it comes down to the risk tolerance of the buyer.
Well, it's that's the appropriate answer, because like from our perspective, it's never good to waive inspections. So I will tell you, even in new construction, I've some people are like, well, why am I going to do a home inspection on new construction? Well, how many times have you had new construction come back where there were issues with it?
Right.
And even though you do the walkthrough, the pre-settlement walkthrough with the builder to go through and check all things and do your punch list, an inspector may see it from a different perspective.
Right.
But
So if all right, let me plug on something to the end of it. So if I waive inspections, and then I get into the house and there's some stuff that now I've discovered after I bought it, do I have any recourse?
only if it's not on the seller disclosure, and you can prove that the seller did something or didn't disclose something, meaning like you'd have to have hard concrete evidence to prove that.
Showing the seller knew about it before the sale, essentially.
Yeah, because there was, does it happen sometimes where a seller will say, I don't want to put that on my seller's disclosure because people won't buy the house, right? Well, that's the whole point. it's not that we don't want to sell the seller's house, but the buyer has to be able to make an informed decision.
Right, exactly.
When reviewing the seller's property disclosure. And that's the first part of your due diligence, is to review the seller's property disclosure.
How about if I'm a buyer and I'm going to settlement and I have some questions in the back of my mind? How does a home warranty play into that as far as a way of protecting myself?
Well, I mean, you could get a home warranty towards the end there, and so if something does come up post-settlement, you'll have a little bit more protection. The home warranties don't cover everything, and they especially don't cover pre-existing conditions where, like, you find a condition, you go get the home warranty.
Right, but let's say that you just do that before you've even gotten that opportunity.
It all depends on the home warranty. Like if the home warranty says it covers that item, then it could be something that you can take. But they don't cover everything, and you have to check what the home warranty covers. Or you may have to purchase additional coverage to really get to maximize your.
So there is home warranty that could cover some of the major expenses. Mm-hmm. Do you have any idea about what it would cost for like a year home warranty?
Anywhere as cheap as I think $499 to as much as $700-800.
So $800. That's actually not too bad when you think about.
No, it's a little bit more peace of mind.
Yeah.
So like if it is like a newer construction home, and you looked at the house, everything seems to be in order, but you want to make sure that there's not something doesn't come up afterwards. You could use a home warranty to help
Or
cover
a
yourself.
house that's been renovated.
Yeah.
So it's easier to cover stuff up instead of really fixing it.
Yeah.
Something like that.
But those are situations. But I try to recommend to everybody to get a home inspection.
And a buyer could actually put in the contract the request for a home warranty
They can.
from the seller.
Well, did you also know?
I don't know.
Did you also know that if you see certain things up front that you wanted to take care of, you can request that as a part of your agreement of sale?
Oh yeah, that's good.
Yeah. So if you see something that's broken or that's not working, instead of waiting until the home inspection to do that and to request that, you can request it up front and make it as a part of your agreement.
Right.
And then this way, that's one less thing you have to take care of during the inspection period.
But putting that in your offer would serve as some sort of contingency or some sort of extra thing that may deter the seller.
Yeah, but I mean, so for example, we're starting to see houses sit on the market longer. And if you have a house that's been sitting on the market for 30, 60 days, and there's no offers in hand,
We've got some leeway.
you got some leeway.
All right, so we're now at that point where we've done all the due diligence. We've responded to the inspection. The seller says, okay, cool, let's go ahead and get the deal done.
Mm-hmm.
What's the next step for the buyer?
So the next step is to get the final loan commitment. So you've got to make sure that you as a buyer, make sure all your documentation has been submitted. It should have been done like earlier in the process.
As soon as the offer is accepted, shouldn't the buyer's agent send it to the loan company? The agreement of sale?
Either the buyer's agent or the client should be working with the lender to get all the documentation into them so that they can underwrite.
Yeah.
But the thing that happens is, when you get the appraisal done, that also has to be accounted for as well, because that can take as long as a week to 10 days.
Yeah.
So if you wait a week to pay for your appraisal through the lender, then you can add another week to 10 days onto that, and then once it gets to the underwriter's going to review it. It can take another week. So you want to make sure you get that information in there, And then once we get the final approval from the lender, in the meantime, you're also making sure that your utilities are set up, that you're getting ready for to have everything ready to go. You're getting your movers, all that kind of stuff. So once we get the loan approval, the next thing is we're going to go ahead and schedule the walkthrough date. We do the walkthrough. Everything's good. We go to settlement. You get the keys on the day of settlement. You bring your check or get your money wired, and then you bring all your your IDs and stuff like that. And you get the keys. And you move in.
And the home's yours?
And the home is yours.
And that's why step number 1 is really important. You get an agent who helps you walk through all those other steps.
Correct. Because there's a lot of steps, and while up front it seems very like there aren't a lot of steps, but in the background there are a lot of different things that are going on.
Yeah.
Between the agent, between the lender, between the title company, between the other agent. There's a lot of coordination that is going on between all parties to ensure that we get to settlement day and that the house is able to be sold.
I think we went over a lot today, but we still kind of touched the surface because there's a lot more, like you said, that goes on behind the scenes that an experienced realtor, like one of us on the William Waldman team, would be able to help them out with.
Yep.
What team?
The William Waldman team.
Yes.
All right, got it.
Very good.
Yeah.
All right, then. So if you have any questions or whatever, give us a call. Shoot us a text message or an instant message or whatever it is on these social media things.
We cover all ages now.
Yeah, exactly.
Phone number 267.
758.
Oh, gosh dang it. Why you
0400.
didn't learn it? 0400.
There you go.
All right.
There you go.
Stop
All right, guys.
doing me like that, Rich.
All right, everybody. We'll talk to you later.
See you guys.